Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! First story. Force me to deploy? I'll kill your career. Let's go back a few years. I was a combat engineer platoon sergeant. We had recently gotten a new company commander who thought his crab didn't stink. My first interaction with him was when I got back from running an M240P range. Well, it took 3 hours for him to arrive, and despite one sergeant calling many times, he insisted we stay. The entire meeting was him bragging about himself and saying that he was trying to get the company slotted for a deployment to the Middle East, as well as how excited he was to go. I spoke up and basically said he's an idiot, but with more words, which ended the meeting, which got me stern talking to and thinly veiled threats. This captain had been in for 15 years and never once been deployed. That takes effort and a lot of figurative sucking up. He only wanted to go now because he was up for major. It turned out brigade had a mission and asked for volunteers. Captain Jerk volunteered me to go despite knowing I had gotten married a week earlier. I did not want to go to the higher-ups. I was told it was between myself and the captain. Well, a month out, my sister-in-law committed suicide immediately after she miscarried at 33 weeks. Found them both in the basement of their house. Well, Captain Jerk did not care. No leave, and I was still to leave about a week after the funeral. Screw him. I walked in to talk to the command sergeant major and was immediately dropped from the deployment. But the captain was sucking up too much to the battalion commander that nothing happened to him. After about 8 months later, Captain Jerk got his wish. Headquarters platoon and one other was slotted to deploy. Of course, because I had the most combat experience and most deployments in the platoon, he naturally decided that's why my platoon should go. Now, in order to deploy, you first have to go to a months-long field exercise where you are graded on performance. This generally applies to the higher levels of leadership, and by this time I was just pissed. So I got my squad leaders together and improvised a few missions. First, everyone was to follow the CPT's instructions as literally as possible, no matter how dumb, and not to give any advice. This led us to getting absolutely destroyed in training, which was glorious. Secondly, and most importantly, was a psychological aspect. So this idiot commander would go to bed nightly at 9 p.m. no matter what. In the desert of California, you can all sorts of creepy crawlies to slip in a sleeping bag while sprinkling juice on his uniform. They would also periodically hide some of his gear or render his rifle inoperable. So for days this went on. Poor guy slept very little because I ensured his tent would sit over top of a beehive. These bees hated any vibration and loved juice. The idiot never realized why he was constantly getting stung. As we were to be fallen under a new brigade, I had to go meet the higher-ups, and wouldn't you know it, the colonel we were set to fall under turned out to have been my first company commander, who I got along great with. I pulled him aside and called up my squad leaders, where we basically told him Captain Jerk was going to get someone killed, pointed out his erratic behavior and the overall poor performance. Needless to say, he was quickly relieved of command, career killer, and sent back to work in an office where he belonged. As for myself and my platoon, I still didn't want to go. But the new company commander was my old platoon leader from my second deployment, plus I couldn't let my guys go without me. Turned out it would be my last deployment as some injuries forced you out of the military, but everyone came back alive. Edit. I sent a text to one of the old squad leaders because for the life of me, I could not remember exactly what the deal was with the captain. He had been an E4 prior to becoming an officer. Clearly, I did not care enough to retain that information. Next story. Karen wanted me to give her my army compensation. This happened about a year ago, 4 months after I had been enlisted into the Swedish Armed Forces. To put some perspective on this, the SAF enlists a few thousand people every year who just finished high school for 9 to 11 months. We who are enlisted get a form of compensation for this, not salary. This compensation comes from taxes, and because of this, we do not pay taxes on this income. It is not a lot of money, but it's still money. Anyway, most of the time I went home wearing my uniform because people tend to smile at you or start small conversations about how life in the army is and such. Mind you, this is Sweden. Talking to strangers very rarely happens, but I enjoy doing it, so the uniform is a conversation starter. That and the kind of silent respect you get from people around you. I liked it. So on this occasion, me and 2 other friends I was serving with, I will call them friend 1 and friend 2, all wearing the uniform, arrived at our home city, big city, and proceeded to walk towards the subway from the train station when we heard an angry voice behind us. The entitled mother says, "How dare you?" We just ignore it because there was no reason to think it was directed towards us. "Do not ignore me, you pieces of crap." At this point, I turn around to see what the fuss is about, and I see the entitled parent staring at us with a child maybe 10 at her side. Sorry, what? I was a little bit annoyed by her choice of language, but put on a smile. "Aren't you recruits?" "Well, sorta. We attained the rank private about a month ago, but we're still fresh." "What gives you the right to take our tax money just so that you can go and play war in the woods?" "Excuse me? I'm a hard-working single mother, and I have to pay extra taxes." "It is not extra." "Just so that idiots can slack off at some military base. How is that fair? I could have spent that money on taking care of my son instead." At this point, friend 1 steps in. "Listen, we don't choose how the system works. I'm sorry that it's inconvenient for you, but that's how it is, and you'll just have to accept it." "Don't you dare speak to me like that. Sweden is a neutral country and we don't need an army. People like you have no use for our society." I tell her, "Well, sorry to hear that you feel that way. But what do you want us, 3 basically recruits who have nothing to say in the military hierarchy, to do about it? You want us to give back the small amount of money we get to you?" "Yes." "Are you serious?" "Yes. You said it was only small money, so what do you care if I have it? That way you would actually help the people, and I can care for my son." "Okay, I'm going to make this clear to you. The reason we are training is so that one day if the war comes to us, we will have the capability to protect this country and everyone in it. We will be prepared to put down our lives if necessary to keep everyone, even selfish, ungrateful pricks like you, safe." I said this last part probably a little louder than I had to. And I noticed that a lot of people around us were now looking. To slight surprise though, they were all staring at the woman in front of us. All 3 of us are pretty big guys, all over 185 centimeters, and muscular, and she's basically shoulder height on me. But does she back down? Nope. She slaps me hard, square in the face. I was pretty furious at this point, but I kept my cool long enough for the best part to happen. This old man, without doubt 75 plus years old, walks up to the woman and pushes her hard backwards, and she falls over. He tells her, "Punching a soldier in uniform is a serious criminal offense. If he wants to charge you, you're looking at prison time." Several people in the crowd murmured their compliance, and the old man looks over to me. I stared at the woman dead in the eyes as I said, "Someone call the police, please. I'll be pressing charges." "Oh yeah? I will charge you for assault, you jerk." She screams at the man. Be my guest. I acted in others' defense in accordance with the law. Basically self-defense, but you defend someone other than yourself. At this point, the entitled mother seems to realize that she can't win, so she grabs her son and attempts to run off, but my friends grab her. The old man asks me, "Are you okay?" I laugh a little. "Yeah, don't worry about me." My friend here punches way harder than that. We spar a lot with each other. And my friend just smirked a little bit and shook his head. I thanked the old man, name was David by the way, super nice guy and apparently ex-defense forces. And my friends and I waited till the cops got there. She spends the 10 minutes it takes the cops to get there literally screaming that she has a great lawyer and that we can't touch her. This is funny to remember because she got a 3-month jail period for this. Next story. Attack my friend for a petty reason. Visit ya in jail, mate. This was a long time ago, 7th grade actually. And some random pompous guy, from now on referred to as PW standing for Petty Witch, walked up to my friend and stole his phone during a school dance, under the grounds that he had supposedly taken a picture of him. Again, this was middle school, nonsense happens for nonsense reason. Anywho, my friend, from now on referred to as IAG, standing for Innocent Asian Guy, recovered the phone and all was well. Until the next day. You see, me, IAG, and PW had gym during the same class period, and because PW is, well, a petty witch, the attacking began. PW knew that IAG and I were friends. Hell, I remember slamming the dude on the ground playfully about 2 weeks before this began, and IAG was there. He knew that messing with him meant messing with me. At least he should have. But he had no fear in attacking him, and I had no fear in reporting him. But here is what happened. PW attacked IAG in the hallway leading up to the gym, a few feet from the doors. The most aggravating part of the attack was that people saw it and didn't try to stop it. But the thing is, I didn't see it. Anyway, the gym happens and we go out onto the track, where I would normally run my laps. But today was different. IAG wanted to talk to me, specifically about PW being a jerk to him. In the middle of our conversation, guess who butted in? PW. That's who. He actually jumped on my friend's back. But IAG kept his balance long enough for me to push him off. He lands a punch right next to my eye, and we go running. The only reason I was able to slam him on the ground earlier was because he wasn't expecting me to. Fighting him now while he was prepared was a bad idea. We talked to our gym teacher, who said he would take it up with the administration. Fast forward half an hour, and we're in the middle of lunch when IAG was sent to get me and take me to the police officer. We had an official policeman on campus during school hours every single day. This man was serious business, who brought us into his office for official statements and other such procedures. And here comes the golden moment. We actually took a look at the cameras, but the only view we could accurately get was in front of the gym doors, where we got a front row seat of IAG getting punched in the back of the head, bit on the arm, do not ask me, I didn't attack him, and the like. After taking one good look at this, the police officer turned to us and pretty much said that we have both the evidence and the legal grounds to send PW to jail, or juvenile detention considering his age. I kid you not. I could really legally send this petty 12-year-old jerk to jail, and IAG was on board with the idea, and considering we both got attacked and were looking out for each other, we decided behind bars was where this guy belonged. I'm not gonna bore you with court details, but yeah, he was found 100% guilty and he looked like a sad little idiot by the end of the day. And by the time he was permitted back to school, he never dared to mess with us again. Next story. Party loud after 11? I'll drink your booze. So when I was in the music business, I had a nice one-bedroom apartment overlooking the pool and the clubhouse. My job at the time was to fly around the country and throw parties in clubs every weekend. And it was exhausting but loads of fun. I got a rare weekend off and I was looking forward to getting some rest, recharging, and heading out every week for the next 2 months. Now I chose this community because they were very quiet. The residents were polite and it was never noisy. Until one fine night. Now I'm pretty okay with people being a bit loud until around 11, especially on the weekends. But come on folks, have some manners. I had gone to an event that night but left early so I could get home by 9ish, get a shower, and get some sleep. Noticed there was a loud party in the clubhouse when I got home. No problem, I figured. I'm used to loud music, but it was so loud I could hear it in the shower. No problem, I think. Surely they will turn it down by 11. 11 comes and goes and they are still banging away like a frat party, and I really don't want the hassle and the weight of calling the cops. So I put on my jeans, boots, shirt, and go down and hit the keg. It wasn't long before someone walked up and said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm the guy in that apartment right up there that you're keeping awake with all this loud music and noise at 11:30 at night. So as long as you keep doing that, I'll be drinking your beer." The music got turned down and I got a good night's sleep. And yeah, honestly that was easier than I thought. But hey, lucky me. Next story. Forcing unconventional housemates to live a conventional lifestyle. When I was in university, some of my fellow students managed to bag a large student house with like 9 rooms. Friends of friends got invited to make up numbers. All these guys knew of each other and lived together in dorms previously, so thought they knew each other. There was this girl who hooked up with a guy and they ended up sharing a room together. Whenever she got drunk, she always used to sing Cat Ballo. Nat King Cole, right? As individuals, these guys were fine, but as a couple, they were odd. They would stay up late smoking weed and stop the whole house from sleeping/studying, playing music and stuff till like 3 to 4 a.m. Guys tried the civilized approach to quieten down and were met with an odd counter-argument. If you want to lead a conventional life doing a 9 to 5, that's your choice. Don't force it on us. Cue Pity Revenge X8. Everyone was in on this. They turned their speakers to face this couple's bedroom, facing the ceiling of the bedroom underneath or the floor from above. You get the idea. Set their stereos to max volume and an alarm to start playing music 15 minutes after the last person left for lectures. And let rip. Everyone stayed out of the house all day. They all tried to arrive home at the same time. This couple was livid. If you want to be conventional and be in the room when you listen to music, that's your choice. But don't force it on us. They only needed telling once. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.